This is a demonstration of exercise 636, estimating useful life and percent used up. The property and equipment footnote from Tesla follows. Assume that 25% of the amount classified as land and buildings pertains to the cost of the land. So the footnote has given us the property, plant, and equipment that Tesla owns for 2017 and 2018, as well as the accumulated depreciation and the net property, plant, and equipment. The footnote also provides us with the depreciation expense for the years ending 2018, 17, and 16. In Part A, it asks us to compute the average useful life of Tesla's depreciable assets at year end 2018. So we go to our property, plant, and equipment footnote and we look at the items that are listed to determine which of these items would be depreciable. So we know that machinery and equipment, vehicles, and office furniture would be, tooling would be, leaseholder improvements would be. We know from the information that the problem has given us that 25% of the land and buildings belongs to land, and we know that land is not depreciable, so we'll need to exclude that portion. We see computer equipment, hardware and software, that would be depreciable, but construction in progress is not. We do not depreciate construction in progress. Those items would be depreciated once the construction is complete and it's been placed in service. So the first thing we want to do is we want to determine the amount of the land and buildings that's attributable to the buildings. So if 25% is land, then if we multiply the amount by 75%, we'll get the amount of the buildings. And the same thing for 2017. If we take the total amount and multiply it by 75%, we'll get the amount of land and buildings that is just buildings. Then we're just going to copy the information from the footnote for the other items that are depreciable. And then I have summed the amounts of the depreciable property for 2017 and 2018 and determined the average by taking the sum of the two totals and dividing by 2. And then we need to divide that by our depreciation expense for 2018, which the problem told us was 1.11 billion. And since this is our equipment is in thousands, that means that our depreciation expense would be 1,110,000. We divide that into our average depreciable asset cost and we get our average useful life of 9.37 years. So we would compare Tesla's average life to the average life of other companies in the same industry to determine whether or not this is a conservative useful life, average useful life, or whether that would be considered to be aggressive. The B portion states, estimate the percent used up of Tesla's depreciable assets at year end 2018. And how do we interpret this figure? So to determine the percent used up, we have in our numerator the accumulated depreciation for 2018. And then in the denominator, we have our average depreciable asset cost that we computed in Part A. When we divide the average depreciable cost into the accumulated depreciation, we get the percent used up. So in this case, it's almost 26%. Now, if we assume that assets are replaced evenly as they are used up, we would expect assets to be about 50% used up. Since Tesla's ratio is about 26%, this ratio indicates that their assets are newer on average. And that would make sense because Tesla is a fairly young company. And that is the conclusion of the demonstration for exercise 636.